In the hunting world, one of the most physical challenges occurs while seeking the bull elk in the Great Rocky Mountains. Climbing from 8,000 feet to 12,000 feet can be so demanding that even a trained marathon runner can find himself in agony. To enjoy all that elk hunting has to offer, one has to pace himself. The true wilderness experience is what lures most hunters to the mountains every fall. In early September, the aspen trees are beginning to turn some of the most brilliant colors that nature has to offer. This is one sure sign that the breeding season for elk is underway. Early and late each day, the big bulls can be heard bugling in the dark timber along the mountain drainages, announcing their presence to eager cows, or just staking out their territory to other bulls. This rugged region is home to many species of wildlife. Visitors can observe bears, blue grouse, and numerous ground squirrels, all preparing for the long winter ahead. As the weather cools, elk become more active. Bulls spar with one another to determine dominance and the right to mate with willing cows. An early snowfall and bugling can be heard throughout the mountains. This time, the snow is short-lived, but soon it will pile up to great depths, forcing the elk into the valleys where food can be more easily found. Clear running streams and beaver ponds offer a tempting challenge for catching tasty trout. Light fishing tackle is all that is needed to fish in crystal clear water. One can actually see the trout chasing the bait and then putting up a good fight. One day quickly runs into another, and before you know it, pursuing bugling bulls becomes an obsession. Through proper game management, large herds of elk now roam most of the Rockies. Trophy antlers, meat, and camaraderie are all legitimate rewards for a week of elk hunting. But the overall wilderness experience is what truly makes the hunt. Since their first elk hunt, Harold and David have returned annually to this great area in quest of this magnificent game animal. Their journeys once again carries them to elk country, where they'll experience the magic of elk calling.
Harold, the first call you took, I'll tell you something that was most exciting to me sitting there trying to film that camera. Of course, I couldn't gather all the video that we really needed before the harvest, but the one exciting thing to me about it was that, of course, Butch never did anything. Once that bull answered him bugling back to him, that was the last bugle he heard. He heard cow talking from there on.
All right, you said cow. He sounded like more than one cow.
I think the public would be amazed at what actually a cow elk sounds like.
I was totally shocked when the first cow elk I ever heard. Of course, I've heard people show me how a cow elk was, but when I actually got to see that cow elk make that sound, I said, that can't be a cow elk. That's got to be a bird on the other side of the cow elk.
Well, in this particular situation here, this bull was answering the bugle from a distance. But we decided from having so much bad experience of them shutting up once we got in close that we wouldn't do anything but cow talk. And I know that Butch sat back there and he called and called and called. He sounded like more than one cow at times.
That's exactly what he did, and I was really impressed with that. And I think that's something that you and all the people that wants to go elk hunting ought to keep in mind. Try to sound like more than one cow.
That's right. If these bulls are answering you when they're bugling, and you get over there and they shut up, then don't bugle anymore. Let that be the last time you do it, because it's the transition period of the bulls. They're wanting to be king of the woods, but they're not frisky enough to want to challenge anything. But he had a couple of cows with him, and he brought those cows with him to come over there. And when he got in close, he was so antagonized and mad because Butch wouldn't show up as the cow that he came charging up through the woods and knocked down trees. He pushed over everything it was. I've never seen anything that would just charge up through there like that, and ran up to what?
8 yards. That would be conservative.
Well, I'll tell you what, 8 yards, I believe I could have stuck him at that distance.
David, I didn't even have an 8-yard pin set. My closest pin was 20 yards. But I'll tell you one thing. I put the pin on him where I thought I needed to shoot him. And I showed you how thick it was. It was real thick at the place where I shot it. And I let that arrow go, and I was thinking all the time, oh, I'm going to hit a limb. There's some blood. See all this blood here? He's going downhill. He can't be much further. Now, I'm telling you, he's bleeding a lot. Look here.
Yeah. Through here, too.
Yeah. See where it's knocked down all this stuff? We're here.
Yeah. I bet he's down there in that valley right there someplace.
All right, let's get down there and see a little further. Man, look how rough this is. Yeah. Right, look up where it's failed. You know, it looks like it slid right there. Hey, down there he is. Put it on. Down there he is. What? Oh, man. You know, that was exciting, but I mean, exciting. That elk was close. You know, he came to that cow elk call. He was, what, 30 yards behind me?
I was 30 yards behind him. The whole thing was, when you said how to set up, that was the whole trick. Because it was early season. This bull was building a harem.
That's what he's doing. He's getting his cows.
Getting his cows. And we knew when we went in there, we didn't need to bugle. We had it pinpointed. We had the right idea. We went in and set up. These little calls right here.
Give me a little demonstration. Show them what you're doing. Sound like more than one cow.
Well, it sound like 2 or 3 cows.
Well, I can tell you this, it worked. And David, he was right behind me, you know, about 20 or 30 yards, and he couldn't even see the elk. He could see me shoot you and hear everything, but it's so thick where he was at. And he was about 30 yards away, and man, let me tell you, that's exciting. Now that the work's just begun, we got to field dress this elk, and then we got to go get somebody to help us quarter them out, pack horses, get an outfitter to come here and help us get this thing out. You know, we're a long way.
Yeah, that's a good walk back there.
It's a good walk. For an old fat boy like me, it's a big walk. Stan, I know when I give you that old Lucky Night in Hell hat that we're going to have some luck this morning.
That's a good bull you got there, Ray. That's a good bull.
Well, you done a good job getting us in close enough where we could call this bull. You know, I wouldn't give out when I got there this morning like I have been.
Hey, Harold, that's a real nice 5-5 you got there, but you want to mount him?
Yeah, this is what we need to do first now if we're going to mount him.
Well, we'll go ahead and we'll cut him back here behind the front shoulder. And we'll have plenty enough hide for taxidermists to work with.
All right. Well, I think we better be getting on with it then.
Let's get to work.
You know how that bull that Butch bugled up for you was a big 5x5. I mean, that joker charged us. It was almost spooky how he came out of the bushes. He thought that his cow was in there. He was mad because she wouldn't come out. And I don't know that I've had anything that was any more hair-raising than that right there.
Tell you what, that was a long shot too, David, about 10 yards.
Yeah, about 10 yards. That's exactly right.
I didn't want him to get any closer to me.
Well, I'm going to tell you, he scared me pretty good. And I sat up there with that camera. I done got up on a tree lap and really didn't get a lot of the footage of him coming in. But that was quite some hunt. You know, speaking of Butch, Butch has spent many, many years backpacking in those mountains. And I promise you, if there's anybody in the country that knows what to take and what not to take, it's Butch.
You know what? He's got all the I's dotted and the T's crossed when he's taking stuff out west. Whatever I forget, I guarantee he's got plenty of it.
Well, he spent about 10 minutes one day on a rock right out there on that mountain. And I asked him, I said, Butch, take your backpack apart and show me how much extra stuff I've got that I don't need, and show me exactly what I don't have that I do need if I'm going to spend a week out here. And I think we ought to look at that and share it with the viewing audience.
All right.
I know you've got a fanny pack here, and we're going to go through it and look at the very essential things. Now, a man that's been out here 5 years is not going to drag nothing extra out here. So I know everything you've got in here is not extra, but yet it's just exactly what we need. So what do you say that we start taking this fanny pack apart and just showing the viewing audience what is basically essential that most guys wouldn't even think of when they come out here?
Well, there's some of the things are obvious, like water. Water is one thing you don't want to ration yourself in. I take 2 quarts of water, and I try to use a compressible canteen. So when you more water you drink out of it, you can compress air out of it. It's not noisy, and of course lighter it's going to get.
So obviously that's the heaviest time when you leave camp. Water is something that's very critical. You need plenty of water. You can do without food, but you can't do without water.
That's right. And I usually take iodine tablets. Most of the time I don't need those. So I usually take enough water. I don't have to.
Now you take the iodine tablets in case you need to get a drink out of a creek or something. You want to make sure you don't get some kind of intestinal problem with drinking creek water.
A good quality pair of binoculars is essential also. I use these Pentex. They designed for big game hunting. They let a lot of light in late in the evening, early in the morning when you see most of the elks and everything.
So you do a lot of glassing while you're out
there. A lot
here.
of glassing.
So that's important too.
A high quality pair of binoculars is critical.
Okay. So those particular ones there were 10 by 42s.
Right.
And you can glass a long way looking for elk or mule deer.
These are easy to get in and out also. Also, I guess next thing comes to mind in importance is a rain suit. I carry a complete rain suit that's pretty compact, but it's a good quality rain suit. You never know when the conditions are going to change.
They can change almost on an hourly basis, can't
especially in September. It's liable to be raining one time, snowing the next.
All right, we got a good rain suit.
A flashlight. I carry a pretty good flashlight with new batteries. I always put new batteries in.
Sometimes you're walking out, I suppose, after dark.
After dark, or you're looking for something.
You're tracking,
blood trail, whatever.
All right.
Topographical map. I'll take with me something.
A topo map of the area, which gives you some basic ideas of where these mountains are and the creeks are and which way the creeks flow. And keep your bearings to where home base is.
Exactly.
Where do you get the topo map, Butch? Outfitter give it to you?
I get it from Outfitter or the State Fish and Game. You can write for it and send it to you. I have a first aid kit that's compact. It has all the basic stuff that you need.
What are we looking at in a first aid kit? You got gauze, you got a pair of scissors.
Yeah, Band-Aids, tourniquet, aspirin. Just a well-stocked first aid kit that you can buy in a pharmacy or anything.
Have you ever had to use that while you're out here, Butch?
Knock on wood, I haven't yet.
You never know when you might have to.
No. I carry a sharp, good, small skinning knife.
Well, I guess your skinning knife, that's thinking positive anyway, isn't it?
That's right.
Or you can use that knife for lots of different things just other than skinning. You might, I don't know whether you want to have to build a campfire, but you never know, you might need a splint or whatever.
Yeah. I carry one thing here that a lot of people wouldn't
be carrying. I carry a large knife here that's attached to the back of my fanny pack. This area that I hunt here is very well populated with large black bears. And I see a lot of black bear every time I come out here. I don't carry a gun when I go with me, so just for self-defense, life-threatening conditions, I'll use this. It's got a fillet edge on it. It's razor sharp.
Man, I'll tell you what, if I carried something like this to tackle a bear with, I'd just let it turn on myself.
You can use that for skinning also. You really need a super sharp knife, 1 or 2 knives for skinning the elk out.
I know you got a fanny pack here that we just might show that's something that's very comfortable that'll fit around your body that's got all these different compartments in it. Now we've got about a third of the stuff that's out of here, and I see that one of the more important things is some kind of nutritional deal.
Nutritional deal, something snack on, is real important. Yeah, I use something that's not real dry, something that's not going to make you thirsty, but also get your satisfy your appetite.
I know that wouldn't last me during the day's time, but a guy told me one time that they caught him with a set of crackers on him after hunting for about 2 days, and he said he came to hunt, he didn't come to eat. And I think out here that's about the way it is too. You don't come to get fat, you come to eat and just get by, and that's how you hunt.
That's exactly right. Toilet tissue.
Boy, that's important.
That can be important.
That can be very important.
I take a little space blanket. It doesn't take up much room, and you never know. When you go out, you always try to be prepared for conditions that you're not expecting to endure.
A space blanket can help you in a time of shock or something like that, and keep you warm just momentarily.
Keep you warm, keep you dry. In your fanny pack, when you choose a fanny pack, get something that's wide enough to be comfortable when you put it on and sit on your hips. Also, at least 800 cubic inches of space in it to hold everything you need. I carry a nice compass here.
Okay, a compass. Now, that, to me, a man needs to take a little course on how to read one, but just for my personal part of a compass, if I can just tell where north and south and east and west is, a lot of times when you get in these mountains, they can all look alike. I mean, one point looks like the next one. It's pretty nice to know if you started out south, that's the way you need to go back. So at least we carry a compass for that end of it. For those guys who know how to read it, and it's even more important. I know you're up here bow hunting. You're at the time of year when you've got to be calling. Let's look at the call a little bit. How important is it to have a call of some kind with you? It's extremely important to have a call because that's your way of locating elk. Elk's very similar to turkey. You can call and he'll answer. You locate, you pinpoint where he's at. Well, give me a sound. Say you're trying to locate a bull, and just give me a bugle on it that you would make for just trying to locate the bull himself. Well, I'll let out a loud bugle on top of the ridge. First thing I'll do, try to get an answer. Well, I want to wish you all the luck in the world with your bow and out here hunting. I enjoyed getting to meet you. I certainly appreciate you taking time to share with us what you think is important, what has helped you get by over the years. And boy, what do you say we get out there and get with it? That sounds good. Thank you, Dave.
You know, Harold, Butch showed us a whole lot about how to imitate a cow, and really he was my first experience to be around somebody that called up a bull, and that's been 5 or 6 years ago, but we've been on 3 or 4 archery hunts since then, and it brings back the memories of last year. I don't know of a time that we ever went elk hunting and got around any more bugling bulls than we did last year, even though all of them together would make a 200-point bull.
Well, I can tell you what, it's a lot like comparing it with Jake turkey. Lots of gobbling, and they doing a lot of bugling.
They were doing a lot of bugling.
I mean, they wasn't intimidated. They was really bugling.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I took my son-in-law, Kerry Underhill, along. Of course, we went out there and hunted with Colorado buck. He had his son along, and you spent some time with him. And I think that probably the most memorable part of that hunt was the fact that I did get to carry my son-in-law along, and he got to hear a ton of bugling, regardless of the fact that they weren't great big bulls. There was a lot of them, and it's exciting to hear. You don't never know what size bull you're going to call up, even though you may have an indication that there's not any great big ones there by talking to the local people around. But it's the thrill of the hunt and hearing them bugle and responding.
You know, I've heard a lot of bulls bugle, but I don't see them. but I visually got to see a lot of these bulls bugling. I knew what size they were, and I could tell, you know, and they really surprised me on how deep a lot of them were and how high pitched a lot of them were.
Well, again, you managed to take another one with a bow, and I made a very feeble effort to do the same thing, and I did sit around a whole lot and finally wound up on a water hole shooting at one, and we'll just let the video explain exactly what happened.
Opening day finds David and Harold joining Rocky Top Outfitters Colorado Buck, planning their strategies for getting a bull close. The plans are laid, and Colorado Buck decides to work with Harold the first couple of days. Harold and Buck get an instant response from a herd bull. The bull was several thousand feet above Harold, so their plan of attack was going to take 3 to 4 hours in order to reach him. Meanwhile, David has gotten bugling response from several bulls. The San Juan Wilderness area has a 4x restriction on antlered bulls. David and Harold had earlier stopped by a local sporting goods store in Dolores to get any information on what the bulls were doing. While there, owner Jack Childs asked David for some tips on using the night and hail bugle call. Jack told David that due to the hot weather, hunting bugling bulls would be confined to the early and late hours each day. It would be most effective during the day to find a watering hole. David decided to go as high as possible and work down to find a watering hole. Soon, a cow elk is spotted, but no bull. Later, a spike bull comes to water, followed by several cows and calves. Feeling good about being in the middle of elk, David decides to spend the afternoon at the watering hole. David decides to do some calling and soon spots a legal bull coming to water. Getting into place for a good shot required some time, and the moment of truth finally came. David judged the distance to be about 35 yards, but as you can see, it is easy in this country to misjudge distance. The rest speaks for itself. Meanwhile, Harold and Colorado Buck have reached an aspen thicket near the timberline. A bull is heard, then one is spotted. It does not sound like the one they heard earlier, but he is alone. Not trophy hunting, any legal bull will be enough of a challenge. Careful stalking, glassing, cow talking, and the lonesome bull responds. Harold gets in position, for the bull is coming fast. It looked good, and Buck assures Harold he won't go far. Less than 200 yards away, Harold finds his bugling bull, a nice 4x4.
Well, Harold, a bugling bull hunt like we went on in Colorado last year was great, especially to get to see bulls respond regardless of the size of them once again. And we used a lot of these calls out there. Let's explain just a little bit again about the kind of calls that we've got here and what I think people actually need. Now, we've got 3 different mouth diaphragms. We had a little call here that we're coming out with this year that you didn't show a while ago. It's a cow calf that you can stick in your teeth and you can make the cow sound.
I used that, this last year or something, and it's real easy. Again, it's an easy call.
You're biting down on that, aren't you? And blowing in it.
Biting down and blowing real softly.
Again, it's the rhythm that you're looking for. You're saying meow in it.
Yeah.
And in the pocket series call here, once again, you've got this little cow-calf call that your top lip goes up on top of the band. Now, not up against the top. You got to put it up on top. Your bottom lip goes in it. And you just start blowing air until you make a sound. Once you make a sound, then you say the word meow with the air. That is very, very simple to do. It's a very, very easy call to use.
Easy.
That's about as easy as you can use. And then probably the most exciting call that we've got in there, of course, you can make all kinds of calls with cow-calf calls. They're pretty easy to make, but to come up with something that's compact, I've never seen anybody come out with a small bugling bull call like this, that when you get in close, and when I say close, how far is close in the mountains? I mean, we're talking 300 or 400 yards. It'd be close out there. Of course, it wouldn't be turkey hunting, but it would be out there, and that's when you'd want to use this call. It's nothing more than opening your hand up when you want it to let the high-pitched sound out. And you grunt in this. You actually make a grunting sound. You go... And you come off of it, just like you would pop off of it. Now, if you want to get into some little grunting sounds like that right there, that's not bad for a young bull, but it's basically designed to make you a little high-pitched bugle. And you can make 2 to 3 notes with it. Just by closing your hand one way or the other. And as you know the rhythm, you can put it in there. And then again, we've got the big bull bugle, which is a little more difficult to use, but boy, does it ever carry across those mountains.
Get some distance that.
You can reach out and touch them. It ought to be called the South Central Bell call, because it'll touch something. But all you do is put your top lip up on top of it, your bottom lip in the center of it again, and you just basically blow with your jaws by going... Now, I'll say this, Harold. There's nothing like going at the time the bulls are bugling.
Oh, that is the best. I wouldn't enjoy it near as much if it wasn't bugling.
No, you're hunting a bull here. You're actually harvesting animals when they're not bugling. Now, I have nothing against all that. The fact is, I might even want to do it myself. But the ultimate of all hunts to me is being able to go on a bugling gun hunt.
Yeah.
Now, there are some areas in which you can do that. And I remember 2 years ago, we went out with Steve Packer, and we got on one of those ranching for wildlife deals where they had their permits.
Colorado, right on the Mexico and Colorado border.
That's right, and they averaged over 300 plus inches on their antlers, and that's a dream of a lifetime. And boy, do you ever remember how grueling it was for us to go up that mountain? And you know, one of the things that we did there, when you go to trying to harvest big bulls, and that bull bugles back at you, you got to push him before he'll stand and come back to you a lot of times.
Yeah, and I tell you what, he was pushing us too.
Yeah, he was pushing us trying to get up that mountain. And that's where you really got to be in some kind of shape. Now, you know, obviously the highlight of the hunt is to get up on top and work yourself down. But you've got to get up there. And a lot of areas where these big bulls are, the only way you get up there is walk.
Well, I remember how we got there.
And one key to I think, the hunt anymore is you need to carry some kind of liquid with you besides water that'll put electrolytes back in your body. Regardless of what it is, something that'll put electrolytes back, because you can get cramps in a hurry and not know it.
You don't need to ration yourself on liquid.
Well, we wound up going to the top of that mountain. I was on a bugling gun hunt.
I was packing the camera, you remember?
You was packing all the equipment. It was a tough hunt, but we got up there. It's probably the most memorable hunt I'll ever have, because we harvested a bull that would run somewhere in the 355 to 365 category. It's a bull of a lifetime. I believe we need to share that with the viewing audience.
Hold up, Buck. How far we come up this dead wing mountain?
We're going about 3 miles, about 2.5 hours for us.
2.5 hours. It feels like 10 hours to me, man. I'm telling you what, that is one steep mother bear.
Yeah, it is. It's steep.
What's the game plan from here? We hadn't seen much fresh sign, look like.
No, everything we've seen is you know, it's old, 4 or 5 days old. The walla, the drop-ins, the scrapes, all the scrapes we looked at. But there's nothing fresh here, and it's too hot. We need to get up. We're gonna have to get higher. You know, we got to get up in that timberline country.
Well, it's a lot cooler here than what a mile down.
Yeah, that's right. And when you know, as we get on up, we get up the timberline, get a lot cooler.
How high are we talking up there?
We need to get about 12,000 feet.
12,000 feet, and I come from 3,000 feet. Man, wow, this area is thin.
It's going to get a lot thinner up there too.
We ain't get there no quicker.
Well, let's get it.
Buck, last night, you came in here and told us that you felt like the bigger bulls were back here. And in the beautiful silhouette of that moon, you showed me a little bit about trying to get bulls to antlers, and we got a bull to antlers, and you said you felt like that was a dominant bull.
Right.
And that's the reason we came back here today. Now, I want you to show me just a little bit about what we're going to be doing as far as calling is concerned. You're going to bugle to find him, and you're going to cow talk him, right?
Right. Once we locate him, you know, when it's, you know, hot like this, and all the people that's out nowadays, you know, blowing it. I like to locate a bull and just go to him.
Well, let's show me what your cow sounds would be like.
This is a cow sound. It's not, you know, it's not quite a high pitch. You know, it's got a little bit of a, you know, a bit of a baritone to it.
All right, now you're doing that with a mouth diaphragm.
Right.
How does this sound with this little cow call right here?
Just right.
If a guy can take that and say meow in it,
He can call elk if he can do that right there.
he can call elk.
He can call in a bull with that right there.
All right, let's look at bugling a little bit. What do you bugle with? You use a mouth diaphragm and a tube, right?
Diaphragm and
All right,
tube.
bugle once for us. Let's just see if we can get an answer down through there. Boy, I tell you what, I'd hate to hear that out there in the wild, because I'd be hunting you. That is good calling.
Thank you.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting on him this morning. Will you say we get after him and see if we can get one called in?
All right, we'll do that. We'll bugle from right here. Bugle off in this basin. Gary? Yeah.
Which direction was it? It's a.
He's up. He's on the other side of that rock slide up next to that black timber right in there. Right in there. Listen, we got the window on table right here. We're gonna go right down the ridge, right down the ridge, and we gotta be quiet. Okay. I know the camera work. I know you need to get this. You know, the camera work needs to be. You know, it's important to you, but we gotta get the bull. Okay. So we're just gonna walk real quiet down there, real slow, like we're stalking a whitetail.
Oh, we don't bugle anymore?
No more bugling. No more bugling. We'll cow call. We'll get down there, parallel it, and we'll cow call. We'll pinpoint it. Then we'll work it from right there.
You want me to hit the cow call?
If all three of us, you know, the more it'll just relate more of they'll think 3 or 4 different cows.
I agree with you there.
It will.
Let's get it.
We'll start cow calling from right here. Okay, we'll spread out a little bit, so like more than one cow. Get right over here and get ready to shoot. Get yourself someplace where you're comfortable. You know, just get over here and get where you're comfortable with your shot. I think it's gonna come out right across that alpine basin right there, right in that little that stunted growth area right there. Just move on. Get next to that rock right there and get balanced. You'll get a good rest on that rock. There he is right there. There he is. There he is. Coming through there. That's it. He's hit hard. We're gonna give him 15, 20 minutes. We got all day, you know what I mean? Oh yeah. Yeah, he ain't going nowhere. He's anchored right there. Well, that was a good shot. Good shot. What you shooting? What was it? What are you shooting?
I'm shooting a 7mm mag. That Winchester 7mm, put it on.
That's Elk medicine right there.
When you're looking out in terrain like this right here, that was easy to watch, and we didn't have to track this buck a bit. That is some bull elk. Can you believe that? What do you think that bull will score?
Well, I'd say he's got a score right at 350.
350?
A good 350 bull.
I tell you, this is my 3rd year hunting. This is my first bull.
And it don't get no better.
I am tickled to death.
It don't get no better.
This is an experience. It's not just a hunt. This is an experience. How far did we walk this morning?
We walked a good 4 miles, all uphill.
Okay, we were hunting with Steve this morning, and he had probably how many different people out hunting?
Oh, I think he's got about 8.
8 different people and 8 different guides.
8 different guides.
And they're having a little tough time. These bulls are not bugling because it's so warm.
Right.
And we walked 4 miles at your discretion and at my heartbreak. Boy, that's as straight up those mountains. That's this grueling thing trying to bring a camera, trying to come out here with all this and that. It was tough.
Yeah, it was.
But I'm going to say what? It was worth it.
Hey, man, this is it. That's what it's all about.
I'm impressed with the fact of how we stalked that buck, how we got around on him, that you're telling me to quit being so noisy. You got to respect these animals.
Yeah.
And you did a great job. I'll have to say this. You can't always tell a man what the quality of the bull is going to be.
Yeah.
But you put me through some agony this morning, and I was about to swear I'd never do this again.
Yeah.
But it was work.
Yeah.
This bull had started bugling. He hadn't started gathering any cows yet. He was in this brush right here tearing it all to pieces. I don't know how much more exciting it can be.
No, it couldn't. You know, we, when he come bugling over the top of that ridge, and we seen him, and he was coming this way to get behind him, you know, and like we did, we done everything right. And here's the proof.
Well, I'll tell you what, this bull weighed probably 1,000 pounds, won't it?
Yeah, if there's a 1,000-pound bull, this is it right here.
Well, that's enough meat right here for me to live for a good year on with 4 kids.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's
I mean, 4 others. I ain't got 4 kids. But there's probably a bunch of kids eating it, because I'll tell you what, there's nothing better than elk meat, in my opinion.
There ain't, really ain't.
Well, the job has just now started. I don't know how in the world we're going to get this elk off this mountain, but you told me I had to get him on the ground, and you get him out.
I'm going to show you how to pack him out of here.
Well, what do you say we get at it?
On your back.
Oh, man. Let's head around here and go get the mules.
All right.